That brand fucking tripled in 1 month.
Damn.
Just because of the angle.
Are they calculating these things where they're looking
They
at
have no
12?
fucking idea.
Really?
Yeah, bro. I'm talking brands that do 6-7 million a month.
Instead of like asking, how do I drive my CAC down? Ask yourself, how can I make 70 make sense for my brand?
I don't think most people try hard enough before they give up. I've had brands come to me and be like, oh, I think we're just gonna throw this away. And I'm like, let me take it and then I'll rip it. And then I rip it, like 7 figures a month.
Do you have AI roles inside your agency where you just have like AI developers?
Yeah, so I have AI developers now. I've already shaved down my company from like 190 people to 165. AI is coming for our shit.
Okay, so Mr. Eddie, ecom is all about arbitrage, getting the lowest you can pay for clicks and decreasing your CAC as much as possible. And it's changing almost, it seems like every single month on what are the best channels, where can you get the lowest arbitrage here. So curious what you're seeing across all the brands that you're working with and the over $1 billion a year you guys manage. Where are you seeing the biggest arbitrage for getting attention and getting clicks and driving down your CAC in ecom?
Yeah, I mean, right now I think the biggest arbitrage is on TikTok, to be honest. If you can create virality with influencers, I think it's the biggest arbitrage because you're only paying a commission.
Yeah.
Just if you're using TikTok Shop and using the creator economy there. But I don't think it's just about like how cheap clicks are or arbitrage on traffic. I think it's really about like lifetime gross profit of a customer. So like I think a lot of people are just focused on like day one purchase. But if I have a brand that over the next year, I'll give you an example. Let's just say I have a brand that only makes $40 profit on first purchase. And I have brand B that makes $100 profit on first purchase. But brand A gets people to spend another $400 of profit over the next year. And brand B spends another 100, right? Even though brand B's, $100 gross profit on the first purchase, it may seem like it's easier to acquire customers, but really like the brands that are winning are brand A who, hey, you know what? We only make $40 profit. We spend $60 to get a customer. We lose 20. That's cool. But we know over the next 12 months, he's going to spend another $400 with us, which means this customer actually makes us $380 gross profit on our products over the next 12 months. That's who actually wins. Yeah. And so I think actually ecom is more about obviously all the basics, lower your CAC, blah, 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 increase your AOV, because like that's like the only thing that offsets the cost of acquisition at the end of the day is that first purchase. But the ones that win, the ones that stay in business, the ones that exit, those are ones that are built on really strong LTV models. It's cool to get a customer. It's way cooler to get the same customer 15 times over with no acquisition cost, email and SMS as you know more than anyone else about. So I think to me, that's really where the arbitrage is. It's like so many brands are focused on like first time purchase, which is great and super necessary. I agree. But if I had to pick one or the other, I'd rather have a massive back end than like a really good front end for a one-time purchase.
100%.
Just completely different business.
Yeah, I heard Jordan Menard talk about this as well. And it's like, it is really hard to drive your CAC down. Like once you're doing a good job anyway, like on ads, TikTok, whatever, it's really hard to like drive your CAC down from like say like $70 to like $60. It's super fucking
like the
difficult.
amount of effort it takes is fucking insane.
And so it's like instead of like asking how do I drive my CAC down, ask yourself like how can I make this CAC work? How can I make 70 make sense for my brand? And so it's then focusing on retention and dialing that in. And so I think that's like a super good shift that I heard Jordan say, and I was like, holy shit. And I think you're saying the same thing here. And so with that, like modeling like lifetime gross profit and everything, like do you see like most brands that you're auditing and working with, are they calculating these things where they're looking at 12?
They have no fucking idea.
Really?
Yeah, bro. I'm talking brands that do 6-7 million a month. They have no idea what their lifetime gross profit is. Like they don't even calculate it.
Yeah.
They like literally I have to teach them how to calculate it. Then they pull their customer data, then they run them through sheets and run some formulas all to figure out what their estimated lifetime gross profit is, right? Because like, for example, the customer that came in last week, I don't know what his lifetime gross profit. I can't include him in my calculation, right? So it's almost like I have to go back to like, okay, who purchased a year ago?
Yeah.
And how much have they spent the last 12 months? And then take that number as an example of an estimate, right? But obviously, like, just to be clear, like, you want to make more money on your first purchase, right? I'm not saying neglect that. But if there's two brands and one brand, for example, pulls the model off where they're like, hey, buy 6 units right now. And in their head, they're like, okay, I'm increasing my OV so much that I can spend $150 to get a customer and I'm still super profitable. What they don't realize is because you sold them 6 bottles, what usually happens in the supplement space at least, is someone will go, they'll buy the 6 bottles, they'll use one, maybe half the next one. they'll stop using the product, and then all of a sudden, like, they have a bunch of bottles and they'll never buy from you again.
Yeah.
Versus if I just like sold them a sick offer with like one bottle, but another bottle of something else instead, my AOV maybe is a third of what it would have been on 6 bottles, let's say. But I get them on recurring, and now every month they're buying and they're actually using it versus feeling overwhelmed. Like, I don't know about you, I bought in like a 12-month supply of protein before just because it was like a 6 sale. And then like I catch myself like just using like 1, 2, 3, and then the rest expire because I never get to them. And I think one thing that brands could do better in that kind of category is on the email and SMS side. Something we do really well is like, for example, we have a hair shampoo brand for like hair loss. We send them an email almost every single day, like tracking, like, hey, did you take a progress picture today? Hey, did you do this? Hey, did you do that? And it's like a calendar of like, here's what your first 90 days needs to look like, so that we're always top of mind. We're reminding them to use the product, blah, blah, blah. And then once you're like 60, 90 days in, it's a habit.
Yeah.
Right. They don't need to be reminded anymore. It's just a habit. So I think those are like the things that are important on e-com. Now, obviously, above all of these is like product market fit.
Yeah.
You know, you could have the lamest fucking product. You're not going to win with all the marketing strategies and all this shit, right? On the other hand, you could be like retarded at marketing. Can I say that on this podcast?
You can say whatever the hell you want.
All right, you're the one saying you have a big cock in my event in front of 1,000 people. So, you know, I think
I said CAC. My CAC is
my
large.
bad. I misheard from stage. But yeah, I mean, like, you could have a really good product, bad marketing, not our bad marketing, but actually bad marketing, and you could make fucking tens of millions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
So to me, the product market fit is the most important piece. That's why you see like brands like Primal Queen, Chucky, Abdu, close friends of mine, like they crushed it, and this is like their 4th brand, you know what I mean? But like it was the best product market fit. And so obviously they're savage marketers, but product market fit was incredible. You can see with the same marketing talent on different brands that already existed that were not crazy product market fits, but they were decent. They still did 8 figures, but they weren't doing 9 figures. You know what I mean? So that's the gap. And so I think a lot of e-com founders rush to sell the same shit that everyone else is selling. Oh my gosh, I want to fucking sell another pre-workout. I want to sell another fat burner. You know what I mean? It's like you got to differentiate yourself, and you got to find like a really good product market fit. And the difference between selling fat burners to everyone and selling fat burners to women and selling fat burners to women over the age of 40, like those are the things that differentiate a massive brand from a smaller one. Because bro, the people I think underestimate how big the markets are sometimes. Like women over 40 on social media is like fucking, it's got to be like hundreds of millions of people. You know what I mean? It's like, and they shop a lot. They have the strongest purchasing power. So like that's the difference sometimes between a 9-figure brand and a 7-figure brand, is just literally 2 more layers of identification on the demographic side. You know, anyways, I'm just fucking rambling at this point. But
no, that's perfect. That's perfect. And I'd actually like to go in that a little bit more depth. Like, how would you know if like you don't have that necessarily nailed? Like, are you looking at, you know, if somebody needs to go a little bit deeper on their customer, just like segmentation, like maybe it is the right time for somebody to pivot off of like their current product or their positioning. Is it just like kind of like sense, like you have enough experience at this point where you're like, this isn't going to work? Or are there specific KPIs you're looking for? Or when does somebody know that they need to pivot from like their current product and positioning?
Okay. One, I don't think most people try hard enough before they give up. So just to be clear, like from a pivoting standpoint, I see a lot of people like, I think I'm just going to dump this brand. Like, bro, I've had brands come to me and be like, I think we're just going to throw this away. And I'm like, let me take it. And then I'll rip it. And then I rip it. You know what I mean? Like 7 figures a month. So I don't think that's I just want to preface it before I go into it. But like for me, it shouldn't be that hard to sell your product. I think if I was giving like an overarching message, like it shouldn't be that hard. If I have to really try to get someone to want to buy my shit, I must not have appealing shit, or I must be selling to the wrong person. One of those two, right? And so if you've been at it for 2 years trying to sell your product and you just can't crack serious numbers, and you're actually putting in effort, you're making ads, you're doing UGC, you have a back end for email, you're optimizing your website, like you need to pivot, because at some point you need to cut your losses and understand, listen, I have the skill sets to run a 9-figure company, yet I'm doing it for a 7-figure company because my product is inferior compared to other products in the market, or I'm selling to the wrong people, one of the two. Now, if I go, let's say it's the second one, I'm selling to the wrong people. I go and test multiple different demographics with multiple different angles, and I'm still having a lot of friction selling my product, then there's probably an issue, and I need to kind of address product market fit. And most importantly, I probably should do some more research before I go and sell another product. I was talking to my friend the other day, not about ecom, but about info, but it kind of relates. So he's like, bro, who's like the easiest demographic to sell to? And we're kind of like talking about it. And we're like, what's the like, if we were to make a product, what would be like the easiest shit that we could make that's like broad enough where the TAM is big, but also like they have purchasing power, but also the pain is the highest. And so he was like, oh, I think teaching women how to find a man is cool. He's like, that's broad. I was like, yeah, but I think like, and then I was like, yeah, well, I think selling to older women is better because they have more money. So, and that problem is bigger because they're later on in their life and they still haven't found a man. So he's like, why don't we sell to 40-year-old women how to go find a man or a husband? And I was like, no, you're both wrong. I was like, how about we sell to women over the age of 40 who are divorced on how to find the right man?
Yeah.
They have the biggest pain point because they're already divorced. They've been through hell. They've, been through an entire relationship, wasted their time, whatever it is. Now it's toxic, whatever. They probably have half of the man's money at this point.
That's what I was going to say. Hopefully a nice settlement.
Purchasing power is nice. You know what I mean? Problem is super high. They're like, I'm not going through that again. It's not like, oh, I'd like to find one. It's like, no, I've been through hell. I don't want to go through hell again. How can I avoid that? That's someone that you can charge $10,000 to solve that problem.
Yeah.
Go back to problem one, which is I will teach you how to find a man. That's like a $500 problem max. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I think a lot of times, even in e-com, it's the same thing. It's like, Primal Queen sells organ supplements to women who want to be more fit and healthy, etc., versus they just sell supplements to all women or all people who work out, or then all women who work out, then layer, and then you find the one that's like, this is tight enough where my messaging is so clear and so precise that anyone in this category reads it and is like, that's what I need. You know what I mean? And that's how it should be. And quite frankly, I think a lot of us have just been taught like, we need to work so fucking hard to break through the noise to do X, Y, Z, which is true. But I think if it's too hard, I think you have a product problem or a product market fit problem, and maybe you should change one or the other.
Interesting, 100%. So if you're testing like these different demographics, are you like, what's your process there? Like, what's the tactical step-by-step? Are you setting up different landing pages with like different like headline call-outs with different avatars? Or like if somebody's like thinking about like doing this, like what's the tactical step-by-step?
Yeah, I mean, I don't go too deep into testing until I figure out like if, let's just say, for example, CTR is really high and like the time spent on the page is pretty decent. So I'll give you an example. I'll start with angles on the ad level. I'll give you an example. So let's just a protein brand that sells protein that tastes and feels like lemonade. Oh, this is a real product. Okay. So came in, they're doing a few $100,000 a month, whatever. And I was like, okay, guys, what are we selling? And they're like, okay, we're selling protein that tastes like lemonade. I'm like, okay, cool. Everything on the landing page was like a shaker bottle, whatever, right? And I was like, guys, if you look at all your reviews, everyone's reviews have a tumbler. They don't have a shaker bottle. So really what we're selling is the experience that you're able to consume protein in a non-protein-esque manner.
Yeah.
A tumbler, a glass cup, classy, nice.
Take it to Pilates.
Sit on the beach.
Yeah.
That's the vibe we're actually selling. I was like, and let's look at your purchases. Okay, 90% are women. I was like, every fucking review we've ever gotten with a photo is a woman. Why are we running broad marketing to both? So one, let's layer women. Now let's come up with 4 or 5 angles. So let's just say angle 1 is like, never drink out of a shaker cup again. Angle 2 is, tastes like lemonade. You'll never know it has protein. Whatever. Drink lemonade and still get your protein. Whatever, right? 5 angles. I run those ads right away. Yeah. Within a day or two, I'm like, this is it.
Straight to the PDP.
Bro, it'll be the same product page for all of them to start. Layer 1. But I'll look at the CTRs and I'll be like, dude, fucking 12% CTR, 1% CTR. Like, this angle smacks, or this is clearly the winner. So let's double down on this. Then I'll go to the landing page and I'll change all the imagery and the text to reflect that angle specifically. So that's exactly what I did. I went to the landing page. I made all the pictures of women with tumblers, You know what I mean? We took that entire angle, everything at the top, all the headlines, everything changed to correlate to that angle, not drink protein that tastes like lemonade. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like you're higher class because you're drinking this shit and you can be more free and drink it on the beach and dude, put it in a tumbler and whatever. And bro, that brand fucking tripled in 1 month.
Damn.
Just because of the angle, right? So
100%.
like, I think that's the layers that I go through because the ad's the easiest to test. I can just literally run the same ad,
It's like
change
that.
headline on the ad, 5-10 minutes. By tomorrow, I know which angle's the best, and then we double down. Obviously, then we make more creatives on that angle, blah 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 blah. But I'm testing CTRs first because that's my indicator of like I'm interested, and then from there, I just need to do a better job selling them on the end result, and then that's when I, take it to the landing page.
100%. Got it. Interesting. So like that's super interesting. Have you ever tried like any of those like weird like carbonated proteins or like the lemonade?
A lot of them.
You like them?
I'm not a fan.
Really? I kind of like them.
Yeah, I mean they're cool, but like, I guess I don't even drink protein like that to be fair anymore.
No?
I used to drink a lot
Just
of
have
shake.
Scoville chicken. That's how you get your protein.
Pound it down, bro. No, I'll drink. I actually like the Core Power shakes. They're like 40 something grams of protein. I slam them like a shot.
Yeah.
I'll just be in the office. I'll be like, I need something. I'll just slam it like a shot
Jug.
and move on. Yeah.
Right on. Okay, cool. So like just going back to like the funnel analysis, because like that's like the. It's interesting because that's not like the numbers and tweaking like random shit in the funnel. It's just like kind of like the basics, back to the basics of just like the angle of the.
Bro, that's all that fucking matters.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. Like, what are we? Bro, there are brands that are built without a single ad on social media. They run billboards.
Yeah.
And people go to their website and they buy. And it's because the angle that they have is strong. Like, that is the name of the game. And I think too many people overcomplicate it with like all these little hacks and like, I'm gonna put this, how many people are live on the website on pop up, and I'm gonna see if I increase 0.1% conversion rate, which is good. But I think that's like down the line.
Way down the line.
Yeah, I think people are just skipping like the fundamentals of like, how do I get to a pain point strong enough, to an audience strong enough and big enough that it's scalable? And they go to, what kind of hacks and tricks can I do to increase my conversion rate or increase my AOV? Or like, oh, I found out this ad hack trick that I can run now and get like cheaper CTRs for the next 3 days. Like, it's like, that's how people are thinking. And I think people need to think more like broad. How do I go bigger and be able to spend more money and go broader to everyone? And I think that's really what we should be aiming for, not the other way around.
Interesting. Love it. And so like you guys, for example, at Bad, you get brands coming in who are reaching out to work with you. And you guys run audits of their accounts, take a look at like kind of like what they're running. And so is that just like the first thing that you're looking at? And like what else are you looking at? Like what are those other like high level levers? It's not like tweak this abandoned cart email. Like what are the high levers and like main thing that you're looking at across like the whole funnel where it's like this is the shit that actually matters?
So CTR, let's start from left to right. CTR for me is important. Number 2, conversion rate of the site obviously is like the second most important metric. So I have a number I use. It's like conversion rate times AOV. That number should be around 300. So I'll give you an example. If I have a 3% conversion rate, I need a $100 AOV. Because if you realize what that number actually is, that formula, it's the revenue per 100 visitors.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So like if you think about it, if I have a cost per click of $3 and I make it 3% times 100 AOV, I'm literally breaking even on revenue to ad cost, which is really a loss, right? So like anything below 300 is like unscalable to me because I can't get my CTR less than or my CPC less than $3 at scale confidently. You know what I mean? Like some campaigns, of course, $1.20, 80 cents, $1.50, whatever. But like anything less than 3, I'm fucked. So I need both to equal 300. So like for me, the core of an ecom business is all around that formula.
Interesting.
I can always drop ad cost enough to figure it out, whatever, as long as this number is 300. It could be 5% and $60 AOV. It could be 10% and $30 AOV. It could be 1% and $300 AOV. But it needs to be 300, that formula, right? And that to me is like the core principle that allows me to be profitable enough to generate traffic at a cheap enough cost to be able to make it work. So if you think about if I generate a click at $1.50 to a $300, revenue per 100 visits, then I'm making a 2x on my money. If I'm able to get a cost per click at $1, then I'm making a 3x on my money. You know what I mean? If I'm getting it at $2 $2, then I'm making 1.5x on my money. So like that everything is around that formula. And I'm increasing that every single day. Like, how can I get my conversion rate up? How can I get my AOV up? Conversion rate, AOV, conversion. If I do both, if I get 1% AOV or conversion rate and $20 AOV, it's a massive lift in the entire business, right? So, like for me, that's the core principle and metrics that we look at, and then everything else is secondary. That's it. If I audit someone's business and that number is fucking $100, no way I'm taking them as a client. Impossible. At least not for ads. No fucking way.
Yeah. Got it. And so we talked a little bit about conversions there, but then you mentioned AOV and everything there. So like, what are the main things that you're doing for AOV to drive up AOV? Do you sometimes, like when you're working with brands, you have to tell them to, they've got to expand their product suite? Like, are you helping like consult them with that, just like for the cart upsells, or like what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, pretty standard stuff. Like obviously we need complementary products.
Yeah.
We upsell them whether it's add to cart or after the checkout process starts. Sometimes even post-purchase. I think really important is like a threshold above AOV to unlock a gift. So like, for example, let's just say my AOV is, so I did this with a brand, as this will kind of like give a really good example. So this was like a Vineyard Vines-esque brand. You know what I'm talking about? Like pastel colored frat shirts and shit. And their 40% of the revenue came from a pink hat.
Oh.
And I was like, hey guys, our AOV's whatever. I can't remember the exact number, but I'm just going to use an example. $65.
It's an expensive pink hat.
Well, no. AOV on the store. There's apparel. Gotcha. No, there's clothes and everything. But 40% of their sales came from this hat.
I gotcha.
So then I was like, okay, theory here. If our AOV is $60, I want to get it to 85. I propose that we set a threshold of $85. And if someone spends $85, they get the pink hat for free. Our cost is $250 on the hat. We sell it for $35. And now we'll get everyone to spend more on other things, enough to get our AOV up by fucking 40%. And in return, we'll give them the hat for free. And they were up in panic. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Are you stupid? There's no way this hat is all our revenue, blah, 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 blah. What are we doing to ourselves? And part of the gimmick was like, we're not selling the hat.
Yeah.
We're going to turn off the sales for the hat. You cannot buy the hat. You can only get the hat as a gift if you spend X amount of money.
Damn.
Our AOV jumped to $100 overnight.
Damn.
Because everyone wanted the fucking hat. I already knew it from the data. 40% of our sales came from the hat. Everyone wants the hat. If we do not allow them to buy the hat, and the only way to get the hat is to spend X amount of money in order to get the hat, everyone will spend X amount of money and get the hat. And its hat says like, sold out or whatever, and it shows that it's like $40. So people understand the value of the hat is $40 as is. So they're willing to spend $40 more to get this hat for free. But I mean, the hat cost is $250, right? So a lot of these orders ended up being $120, $150, whatever it is, right? After some upsells, et cetera, because of the hat. So I always tell people, like, find the thing that people covet the most and find a way to give it to them for free if they spend significantly more money. And people will do whatever it takes to get a fucking free shirt, a free hat, whatever it is, if it's a thing that they want. If it's a thing that they don't want, like, for example, Built sucks at free gifts. They fucking give like these shitty ass bags, and hey, bro, I've spent $30,000 with Built. Never once have I cared about the free gift that they've given. Like I have zero incentive to spend more money for the free gift ever, because it's never like juicy. You know, I've been to some sites, like especially supplement stores. I'm like, damn, a free pre-workout. I'll spend another $38 to do that. You know what I mean? And then they get it out of me, which is like, it's like me going and buying the fucking pre-workout anyways. You know what I mean? But I'm just giving myself an excuse of why I can justify buying more things so I can get it for free. And so strategies like that, where you can take the thing that the humans, they want the most, and you don't allow them to have it unless they do something else. They will do that something else to get that.
That's super interesting. Yeah, I would, if I was running the store, I'd be a bit antsy on that as well. I haven't seen that play out. And so like for that one specifically, like just curious, like are you leading like in your ads with the messaging of like, hey, get this free hat, and like putting it in people's face? Or is it just like in the checkout bar? Because I feel like if it's just in the checkout bar, people don't really see it. Or are you leading with that messaging and that's like your front end offer?
It's both. It's even the banner on the website.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Summer sale, spend X amount and get our limited edition pink hat, whatever. You know what I mean?
100%.
And everyone's like, oh, fuck, I want that hat. Because, like, I don't even need to survey or ask. The data shows 40% of our fucking revenue comes from this hat. So everyone who comes to the site wants this hat. Even if we're advertising a shirt, they show up to the site, they see the hat, they want the hat. So let's lead with the hat. It's the same for No, I can't. I'm under NDA. I was gonna give like a really big brand example that everyone uses, but we'll move past it.
Womp womp. It's okay.
Womp womp.
Okay, so so we've talked a lot about conversions, ads, traffic, everything there. Now I'm curious about like email. And do you ever like test these offers specifically within email? Like, do you ever use email as a testing ground for any of this stuff? So I'd be curious about hearing about that, and then just like overall like how email fits into like the whole e-com strategy.
Yeah. So I test offers sometimes with email, but like soft. Because email is not a fair indication if this offer is going to work to cold traffic.
Yeah.
What I do more on email is survey. So I find ways to get answers from the customers of what they want next or what would have made them buy something. I mean, dude, sometimes I give really in-depth questions. Like I'll ask like 4 or 5 in-depth questions, and in return, they'll get entered into, you know, $1,000 Amazon gift card giveaway. And if they lose, they still get whatever, $30 store credit, just an example, right? So everyone wins something. So everyone wants to, you know, submit the form, and I'll make them written. I won't make them bullet points. So it's open-ended questions. And I'll be like, for example, what was the main reason you bought this product? You know what I mean? Even people that don't buy, I'll gladly send them an email with a survey and $30 store credit or whatever it is. You know, $30 if you spend 100, right? So I'm not losing anything. But asking them, why didn't you buy? Like, what was the objection? Oh, the price. Oh, I wasn't sure it would work. Oh, I wasn't. And then you start seeing all the objections of why people didn't buy. You start seeing the reasons people did buy, and then you can formulate your own angle and understand like what are the offers that people actually would want. And then I'll use my current customer database to figure out what are the things that they would buy adjacent to. So whatever, I'm selling a supplement, then I'd be like, hey, what is a supplement that you really want to take that, you know, we could formulate, whatever. Obviously, I'd word it better. But then maybe they'd be like, oh, I love creatine gummies. You know what I mean? Whoa, I'd love if you guys had some. If I see like a fuck ton of people want creatine gummies, then I'm going to rip creatine gummies. You know what I mean? But at some point, you have a big enough list where you can depend on your current customer base for future product launches, etc. But I don't think it's a fair place to place a bet
100%.
that this is going to work to cold traffic.
100%. It's more like surveys and everything there. But you can do some to like you could make the argument like you could send to like non-buyer segments and do those offers, but still you're not sure if that's going to work on cold because those are people who are also like aware of you as a brand and everything.
Exactly.
So it's completely different. Gotcha. And I guess so going into email a little bit, like email is primarily viewed as like retention, like it's retention, email and SMS. How do you view email for like acquisition and playing a role in the whole email funnel in as far as like ads, pop-up forms, getting people to convert in the welcome flow? Like, do you have any data or anything where you see like email contributing to acquisition as well? Kind of just like how it plays into the acquisition funnel.
I would say email gives us a 15% lift on acquisition. So this is very important when we're talking about decreasing CAC.
Yeah.
So like, for example, if I work with a brand and they have email, let's just say our CAC is $100 and they don't have email, it's $100. If they do have email, on the surface, it's $100. But if we calculate it over past 7 days because of email marketing, it might be $85. Mm-hmm. It might be $80, right? Because we're getting more customers from the email side. So for me, it's absolutely necessary to have email and SMS lined up on the welcome flows, on the abandoned flows, etc. Otherwise, I'm not working with a brand. It's just like we're giving ourselves a handcuff disadvantage right out the gate. And then number 2, like OpenSend, for example, as a software is like one of the biggest things that we've done from an acquisition standpoint. Because, I mean, we put pretty good filters. Let's just say someone spends 30 seconds on the website. Even if they don't give us their information, we swipe their information. It gets added to our list. We have our own abandoned cart flow / welcome flow mix that we send to them for people that basically got their data tracked through OpenSend, and our unsubscribe rates are super low. And bro, I mean, short-term revenue, we're getting like, I don't know, 20 to 40x depending on the account ROI. Long-term revenue, I can't even calculate it because like we're getting whatever 110,000 extra emails that month, and maybe 3,000 of them purchased, but I have 107,000 people who didn't that are now on my list that I'm emailing that are active. God knows how much more money that's going to make, right? So I think like using tools like that really give you an upper hand. I mean, I'm paying 20 something cents an email for those emails, but like, you know how it is on the list. Like some lists, like I'm making that back per email per month on the list, and I paid at one time, and now they're on the list forever, and they're buying, and I have better lookalike audiences, and everything kind of feeds itself, right? So email and SMS absolutely necessary on the acquisition side, and if any company wants to scale profitably, like they have to have a front end welcome flow / abandoned cart system that's like really solid.
100%. And just to talk about OpenSend a little bit as well, and just like those sorts of tools, because it's become a lot more popular in the past like 1 to 2 years. These third-party data tracking to be able to get people's emails and send them follow-ups. I get a lot of, because I bring them up too, like OpenSend rips, like especially for brands that are scaling hard on acquisition. Like if you're able to get people's emails, even if they don't opt in, and send them emails, like it rips. The ROI crushes. But a lot of people have just like objections on like legality and like that sort of stuff. So have you had any issues with that? Like how are things being tracked there? Curious to hear your point.
Everything's like super legal. It's only available in the US and Canada, I think, but definitely not in Europe, for example. So there are like legal restrictions, but those softwares just don't operate in those countries. If someone from Europe hits the site, they're not pulling their information, right? Mm-hmm. So that's number one. Number two, it's legal. I've done a lot of research into this because I had to. Basically, the reason it's legal is because you went to another website, let's say Wall Street Times, whatever. You went to Wall Street Times, you gave them their email. In your opt-in that you checked off, you gave them the right to basically share your information. So what happens is OpenSend gets a ping. Max visits a website. They're like, oh my gosh, Max is on our website. Hey guys, here's Max's IP and all his information. Who has an opt-in from Max?
Yeah.
And then Wall Street Times goes, oh, we have an opt-in from Max. We're like, cool, great. I'll pay you 20 cents for that opt-in. They're like, deal, here you go. Let's just pretend there's a certificate.
Yeah.
Here's a certificate that says you can email Max. And then so when, Eddie's brand goes to email Max cold, it shows up in his primary inbox because it has this certificate that's been shared from Wall Street Times to Gmail that says Max has opted in. And that trail that we have with Max in history also belongs to Eddie's brand. And therefore, Eddie's brand shows up. It doesn't go to spam, and it actually lands in his inbox. And so that's why it's legal, because everyone has opted in somewhere else before. And that's where that information is being taken from.
Yep, 100%. Yeah. It rips. It does really well. Yeah, it does well, especially for the brands that are like the Chad scalers. It's like,
oh, the Chad scalers rip off.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
Sweet. Real quick, if you're an e-commerce brand and you want the absolute best of the best email, SMS, and subscription management, I'm going to have a link below to book a call with myself and my team. We've done over $200 million in email sales for our clients. We've worked with over 200 brands. We're really good. You should check us out. Alternatively, if you just want to learn email marketing, whether you're a brand or a marketer, I have a community which has a full 30-plus module email marketing course and some of our best templates of all time, over 250-plus editable email templates, and weekly live calls with me in my community. So if that interests you, there's going to be a link for that in the description as well. Back to the video. And so, right on. So we talked a little bit about retention, acquisition as well. I'm curious as well, and now we're like good transition into like software tools and whatnot. I'm curious, like specifically, like, it's going to be brought up AI. It's probably brought up in every conversation just because it changes like every couple weeks pretty much. And so curious, like specifically, like you guys are using TikTok, UGC, like have you made some sort of transition to using AI influencers, using like AI UGC, AI ad creatives, all that sort of stuff? What's kind of like your thought process there for like the different platforms, and what are you guys using to execute that?
Yeah, we use AI for everything creative wise at this point. TikTok's a little bit different because we want the organic reach of influencers.
Yeah.
So we still use primarily real people because we want them posting it on their page. So naturally, like an AI person isn't going to do that. But yeah, I mean, all our thumbnails on YouTube are AI. All our image ads that we run are AI.
Really? The thumbnails are AI?
Yeah, most of our videos now are for client ads are AI. People don't know. Pretty much all the images are AI. We use primarily, what is it, Higgsfield? Is that what it's called? Or Higgsfield? Nano Banana, essentially. Yeah. But the back end is called like Higgsfield or something. My creative team does most of it, but I'm just like informed. And I also like when new shit comes out, I do my research and then I send them what's good. So like, for example, today I sent them an automation someone built on Claude Bot that was like, they go and they use the AI UGC software and they scan competitors' ads and they find the angles and it sends the angles to the UGC software. It makes hundreds of different variations of UGC creators for that demographic. That spins it up, puts it in a Google Drive, team runs it on ads, example, right? So you have to be doing that to make it work. I mean, you saw in my event the guy showing the AI influencer.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know she was AI until that presentation. You know what I mean? Actually, my friend shared her with me, and they're like, "Bro, this girl's hot." You know what I mean? It's so funny. We're sitting at the table together, and they're like, "Damn, she's fake." Like they're like, "Look, I wanted to talk to her," and they're doing fucking tens of millions of views a month, right?
Yeah.
And no one fucking knows. So, if it's that good, why would I sit here, you know, spending all this money and time to put this ad together when AI can do it? And bro, let's just say it's 95%, 90%.
Yeah.
But 90% with 5% effort is a huge win.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's the key. Like, I'm for one of my companies, I'm about to film an ad with Johnny Sins.
Yeah.
So we were talking about this.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I could technically go spin this up with AI in the next 24 hours and rip it. But he's an actual famous person. And if I do it with AI, it has this much effect. If I do it real, it has this much effect.
Yeah.
So in cases like that, it still makes sense to do it real. But if I'm not depending on a celebrity or some sort of icon, and I'm just want UGC or just want to show my product, I would be stupid to not be using AI. Like, bro, 4 or 5 years ago, I used to sit there in the studio and like move the hairbrush and fix the shampoo and fix the shadow and the lighting. Now I'm just like, done. Why the fuck would I not? So, yeah, I don't know all the exact tools because they change every fucking week, to be honest.
Literally.
Like, literally every week, our team is asking to subscribe to a new AI UGC tool or a new AI content tool or whatever, but they're everywhere. And if you're not using them, you're definitely falling behind. And especially with the Android Meta update, like, you need more creatives for ads, and you're missing out if you're not using it.
100%. Amazing. And so I'd love to talk then about like team and team structure, specifically like with AI as well, and how you're viewing it. Let's just start with like team structure and how you guys operate, because you guys work with a lot of different brands. And I want to talk a little bit about, you know, how you run such a big operation and hold people accountable and do such good work. So talk to me a little bit about different divisions of your company, how they're set up, how leadership is set up, and then we'll kind of take it from there.
Okay, cool. So I have an ads department, which is Facebook and Google. I have a email retention department, email SMS, push notifications. I have an Amazon department. I have a TikTok department. Those are the main departments in the business. Each one has a department head. So media buying has a head, TikTok has a head, email and SMS has a head, Amazon has a head. Underneath that head are what I call district managers, depending on how big. So basically, at the bottom level, our team is in pods. Mm-hmm. So each pod is a team. Every 4 teams is a district. So a district manager would manage 4 teams. Yeah. Each team is led by a marketing strategist. So the marketing strategist essentially owns the P&L of the team. So they see everyone's salaries on the team. They see what the clients pay. They see the contracts and the bonus structures. And their job is to make their clients the most money, which therefore makes us the most money, keeps us profitable. The more profit their team makes, the more profit they take home, as well as their team. I do a profit share on each one.
Yeah.
So that's the general structure. Over all the district managers and department heads is like the C-suite. So we have the COO, we have the CFO, we have me, and then we have my executive assistant. We basically oversee the company as a whole. Now transitioning into AI, I've already shaved down my company from like 190 people to 165.
Wow.
Not necessarily because of AI, just because like I realized like there's just a lot of fat, right?
Yeah.
Like we grew, we outpaced hiring, and then at some point we stopped paying attention to those people because we made a bunch of money. And then we're like, wait a second, these people aren't as effective as we thought. And then we fired them, and then business is still going smooth. So that's one. But 2, I'm not in the mentality that I'm going to replace my entire team with AI.
Yeah.
I do think AI is coming for us for sure though. Whether it's email and SMS, whether it's ads, whether it's creative, I mean, AI is coming for our shit. That being said, I'm in the mentality that, hey, listen, I've trained 160 people. They're very well trained. They know what to do. They know my SOPs. They know my business. I trust them. That's why they work for me still. Why don't I just use AI to quadruple their output? So I believe like, okay, obviously it's still going to go down, right? I might go from 160 to 130, 120. But it's not like I'm going from 160 to 25 people with a bunch of AI robots. I just don't foresee that. In our world of a marketing agency specifically, relationship is a big deal. And like someone could sit there and like talk to someone that they like and enjoy, and it de-escalates problems, and it helps when campaigns aren't working because there's a relationship there. There's like a physical trust with a person. They know this person's got my back, versus a robot removes that entire emotional connection. And now you're 100% dependent on results. The moment the robot doesn't get results is the moment you're fired. Whereas for us, we don't get results for a certain period of time. It's like, hey, I know you guys are working hard. I know you're trying to figure it out. The plan makes sense. Let's keep going. You know what I mean? There's a different relationship. The robot doesn't work. It's like if the robot can't figure it out, we're done here. You know what I mean? There is no relationship to keep. And so I don't think fully that we'll go towards robots. I'm just in the mindset of like, dude, if I could have 120 people and do the work of 500 people, that's a sick business versus like trying to get down to 25, 30 people, run it super lean, blah, blah, blah. It's just not something I'm interested in right now.
100%. And so so you have AI for client work as well that you guys are using, and your team is like learning that, and you're sending them shit, they're learning that. What about like for internal team management systems and everything? Have you guys implemented, do you have like sort of like AI roles inside your agency where you just have like AI developers?
Yeah, so I have AI developers now. We basically create hot list, let's call them wish lists of the things that we want in the business. And then the AI developers will go, they'll actually go make the wish list in order of priority that we give. They'll come back every week. I meet with them. They'll tell me where the progress is at, etc. I'll show the team that requested it. We'll make the appropriate changes and we'll move on. So like, for example, right now, they just built a bot. I was like, hey, my problem here is I have to keep chasing media buyers to make more creatives. So let me just automate that. Instead, can we make a robot that goes online, logs in the ad accounts, goes to the ads, looks at X KPIs, based on the KPIs, pulls the creatives that are doing the best, has a list of competitors for that brand, goes to their ads library, sees which ones are doing the best based on KPIs that we have when looking at people's ads library through other softwares, pulls all the winners across the board, and then creates variations and new ads of those winners, and then puts them in a Google Drive, and then pings the media buyer that their new batch of creatives is ready. I was like, if it could just do that every other day, I would never have a creative problem. I never have to chase another strategist or media buyer to make creatives. And that's a huge problem that is probably the most common problem in the media buying department for us and probably for everyone. And now I've solved it, and I don't have to depend on these guys. Did John go in and make creatives today for this client or think of, it's like, no, it's like the robot already did. Here's all the concepts. Here's why it proposed these concepts, and here they are in a drive. Run them.
Damn.
You know what I mean? So like, that's one example, right? So how many people did I shave of work? Did I fire anyone? No. Did I increase the output of my media buyers 10x? Yes. Mm-hmm. So that's what I mean by
and then
like
free their time to focus on other things like client relationships.
Exactly. Like I don't need you to sit here and think of creatives anymore. Unless you have a really sick idea, like our Johnny Sins video we talked about yesterday, then fuck it, bring it to the table. You know what I mean? But like it was the biggest deficiency, so I solved it. And that's, I think, where AI is the best. It's like, where can I find the things that are the hardest for me to get people to do consistently? And if they're repetitive tasks that are going to have to be done over and over again, if I have AI do them, it's going to be fucking incredible, right? So that's my opinion on it. And just, one example, we also use ClickUp for all our stuff. So ClickUp has an AI tool which kind of scans everything. So now all the team members are asked to update one client profile on ClickUp. So under one client profile, we have like all the meeting notes, all the tasks for the client, all the updates, everything like that on one profile. So I can always go in and be like, type in 5 clients and be like, tell me everything that's happened the last month on these accounts. And it'll be like, this day, these were the results. This week, these were the results. This person updated this. Client was frustrated in this meeting, blah, 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 blah. I just read everything. It's like a brain on everything, because in AI, the context is the most important thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I could talk to fucking ChatGPT, but if it can't pull the information that I'm asking for, then it can't give me the answer. But if I've given it all the information, fed it every single day the exact information, then its memory is infinite and it can all go back and pull and get me all the answers that I need. And I think that's where AI really fucking crushes it. You know what I mean?
100%. And so with AI, and specifically those people that you have for those roles within your company, I'm curious, because we have somebody who they're now an AI developer full-time within us, but we were lucky enough, we just had somebody internally who was like, I love this shit, and they were already building some stuff. They were a copywriter, and then they were just building this, and then we were like, fuck yeah, do this. Let's get a different copywriter. Stop copywriting, just do this. So was this something that you seeked out? How did you find these people? And would you, I guess the first question would be, would you recommend this to any company to start, just like hire somebody full time to do this, no matter the size? And then how do you actually find these people, and what's the workflow like?
Yeah. Every company should have someone like this. Not a question. So I got mine from Remotely X. Transparently, I own that company.
Yeah.
But we hire all our people from there. So I got mine from Remotely X. I pay them $3.5K a month. They're savage. They're probably the equivalent of a $15K developer in America. And so originally how it started was kind of like you. Copywriters, more than anyone, copywriters.
Yeah.
Or like, how the fuck do I use AI and blah, blah. Because that was kind of the easiest thing to replace,
For
right?
sure.
So they got on the bandwagon. They started creating context of how to write VSLs, how to do this, whatever. And they kind of started like automating their job with AI. And naturally, most of them went to Claude, because Claude ended up being the best at like copywriting.
Yeah.
And they got away from ChatGPT. And all of them kind of created their own workflows naturally. They want to make their life easier. How can how can I output way more creative with way less work, way more copy with way less work? And then what I noticed was, like, out of like 200 people in the company, let's say 100 was like diving on their own AI thing and coming up with their own solutions.
Yeah.
And I started having them like propose the solutions, like, oh, I did this really cool thing, and kind of show off to the company of like cool AI stuff that they
So
do.
it's like everybody's kind of doing their own thing, but it's not like a standard sort of like.
Correct. And then that transformed to me being like, okay, cool. They're each in their own lane. They're kind of getting distracted with AI because the updates every single week change. And when they change, then what they made was outdated, and it's just kind of like a never ending cycle almost. So why don't I just get someone who's dedicated, and then at a high level, we talk about the biggest problems we're trying to solve as a company, not individual roles. And then we turn these into tasks and projects for this person to do. And then that's what we focus on for this role. And now someone owns that, has deadlines, and they're actually building it. And the more they build, the more context we have, the better the AI gets as a whole, and the faster we can build more in the future. And that's where we're at right now. And again, it's going to cost me $40K a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Bro, I fucking 4 years ago, I used to pay $40K a month to build apps. Now it's going to cost me $40K a year to have armies of robots running my shit. You know what I mean? Making my entire team's life easier, more efficient, results better, all with less work.
Yeah, 100%. And so the workflow with these people specifically, is it just like you have a weekly stand-up, and then, because one thing as well that I'm curious about, which we'll talk a little bit about as well, is just like team management and team follow-through. I think that's something that I think like you want your team to do something, do some sort of initiative, like, hey, adopt this like AI system or whatever, and then how do you make sure that they actually do it? So let's start with just like the AI developer, for example, that you have. Like, what's the workflow in terms of, is it just like weekly call, you create like a project board, and then just like once a week you're checking in with them on that call, and it's like progress update? I'm curious like what the workflow is, like if somebody were to hire that specific role, and how are you going about it?
So we're just talking about the AI role, right?
Yeah, just talk about that for now.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's really not that hard. So from my standpoint, I basically have all my leadership propose AI solutions that they want. So I need a robot that does X, Y, Z, whether it's something that they currently do or whether it's something that they would like to do. We submit these all in a form. We go by priority. Obviously, each manager talks to their team. Do you guys have any ideas you want? What would help you a lot? Blah, blah. Then the manager has the rights to submit the form. All goes through a Google form. We review them weekly. Bi-weekly at this point. So every other week we have a boardroom meeting. We go through them. Okay, here's all the things that people submitted. Beforehand, I would have hopefully gone through them. Sometimes I'm not able to. And then we'll prioritize. We'll be like, okay, this is a solution that could help the most people. This one, this one, this one. We'll put them in priority order. And then those are on a ClickUp board for the AI dev team. And then they're putting dates. Oh, this will take me 2 days. This will take me 3 days. This will take me 2 days. I need this context for this one. And we're all working off the same ClickUp board. So it's just in priority from top to bottom. People are always submitting. Just because they submit on the Google form doesn't mean it makes it to the ClickUp board. And then weekly meetings with the AI person. We're on Slack, so they can always message like, oh, I need this context to get this done, or blah, blah, blah. I need access to Facebook ads, whatever the case is. And someone's always in the chat being able to help them essentially do that. But that's it. So bi-weekly, we review the submissions. Weekly, we review the tasks that are being made. And then, frequently we're just messaging on Slack about it.
Gotcha. 100%. Makes a ton of sense. And then taking that to a different application, because selfishly this is something that I have a hard time with, is, doing like company-wide sort of like initiatives and then getting follow through on it. Like when we start some new, like maybe not initiative, but thing that I want to start doing across like all of our accounts, for example. So say, we run an email and SMS marketing agency and we're starting this new like Friday report or something, a Friday thing for all clients that we haven't done before. I can't individually check and make sure that it's getting done across like all 120 clients. There are a couple different ways that I could make sure that it gets done. Like I could do forms with all the seniors and then they check the people below them. And then I review like weekly. I'm curious, like, how do you get follow through from the team once you start really building out just like a team and you don't have time to check each individual thing to make sure it gets done? Because do you just deal with your direct reports and then tell them, hey, make sure that your direct reports are getting your shit done? Do you use forms? Like, how do you get that follow through?
Okay, first, you need to talk to the managers and see if the thing that you are giving is something that will help them.
Yeah.
Or is a waste of time.
Get input from them first.
Yeah, sometimes as a business owner, we're like, oh, I want this. But you talk to the managers who run the team and they're like, oh, that's too much.
Yeah.
Or I don't think we need that, or that's a waste, or we already do this thing that you don't know about that's similar. Maybe that's enough, right? When you give your team things to do that you can't justify the why behind very clearly to them, it comes off as busy work.
Yeah.
And everyone hates busy work and they're demotivated to do it, right? So I think for me, the most important thing is like, why are we doing this? So when I had my entire team, like, per position, write out their SOPs and their playbooks and their checklists of their entire job. Some people might, like, if I didn't say why, they might be like, oh, dude, is Eddie trying to replace me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I was like, hey, the why behind this is you guys want to ascend into managers. If we want to grow this company, you're going to have to hire staff under you in order for you to become a manager. To hire staff under you, if we do not make these playbooks, you will have to teach them yourself. You will have to answer every question they ever ask, and you will drive yourself fucking crazy, and you'll never actually be able to be a manager because you'll just become a support bot.
Yeah.
Or we do all these now, and we bring people in, and they're trained on your exact processes and SOPs, and they can follow these checklists every single time, and they don't have questions to ask you, and we can scale, and we can more quickly get you to a senior management role so you can make more money and do less work and just manage the people that are doing it. But in order to do that, we need this. 2 weeks, everyone had their SOPs done because the why was so clear
And framed for their benefit.
And it really is for their benefit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously, it's for the benefit of the company and their benefit at the same time, but there's a why behind it. And smart people like whys.
Yeah.
The smarter the person is, the less likely they will do the thing you're telling them to if you cannot justify a clearer reason why. Because in their head, they're going to find the reason why this is a waste of time. That's just how it is. So if you can show them a clear reason why this is not a waste of time, there's a clear why, reason, objective, whatever it is, that this is being done, then people will be motivated to get it done. If you cannot do that, people will justify how it's a waste of time and find every reason not to do it, postpone doing it, procrastinate, whatever the fuck it is. They just won't do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people are successful because they question everything and they question those things, and that's how. And so they're going to question if you don't explain why. And so
sure.
I think that's something that I could do better. And then also just like show on how it impacts them in a positive way as well. Because people will do stuff if it is good for them, if it's a benefit for them, which I agree with. And so I appreciate you sharing that. And so the next sort of thing that I want to talk about is because like when you have A players and you hire A players, a lot of times A players either want to do their own thing or they let you know that they're going to do their own thing. And I work with like a couple of people who have worked with you before. They were like Curtis, for example. And I go through the kind of like, when I'm hiring, I have people who are like entrepreneurial, or they're like, hey, I want to like get experience within your company, but I want to have like my own thing. I'm curious, like your thoughts on hiring those sorts of people, where they want to do their own thing someday, because those are typically the best people. They're entrepreneurial thinkers. How do you go about that? Like, is that a character trait that you like within your company, within specific parts of your company? I'm curious about like that character trait.
Okay, so I whenever this happens, I think back to when I worked at Lifetime Fitness as a salesperson. I only worked there for 7 months. Mm-hmm. But I was the number one salesperson in the entire company. 150 clubs or whatever the fuck it was. I was the number one guy of, 1,500 salespeople, right? Does Lifetime regret hiring me because I left after 7 months? I would guess no.
Yeah.
I probably made them a fuck ton of money in the time that I was there. And that's kind of how I think about it too. Now, just to be clear, if someone comes to work for me and I can tell in the interview process that they are entrepreneurial,
Yeah.
I make them give me a serious commitment. Like, hey, bro, if you're going to come in here, I need at least 2 years. Like, I'm not going to put it on paper. I'm not going to do this. I'm just man to man. Unless something crazy goes wrong, like, I want you here for 2 years to make it worth my time investing in you. And if you do so, I will support you in your entrepreneurial journey. So I've supported Curtis when he left.
Yeah.
Marius was another one. He's a media buyer. He makes multiple 6 figures a month now.
Yeah. I met him the other day.
Yeah.
Dog.
And I'm sure he only talks highly about me. I'm sure Curtis is the same, right? And I'm the same towards them because we had a verbal agreement. I knew that these are people that wanted to start their own business. We made a verbal pact. We stuck to it together. They left on a really good note. They gave me time. They were conscious of business owner problems. They weren't like, hey, I'm leaving next week. It's like, hey, bro, it's the time has come.
Yeah.
You said to give you 3 months heads up. Here it is. In 3 months, I want to find a way to transition out because I got my own thing going, blah, 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 blah. That's the right way to do it. And when someone does it like that, I respect that. And I have a really good relationship with them. And I'll tell you, out of everyone in my company who's left, I mean, bro, I have 6 ex-employees attend my event.
Yeah.
And pay $5,000 a ticket. That's incredible. And
Yeah.
they came out to me, we love you so much. Thank you for, teaching us everything you taught us. And guess what? Those people refer business to us too.
And you refer to them as well.
And I refer to them. And it's a really good relationship and it's healthy. And that's how it should be in business. And reality is not every business relationship is going to be like that, but those are also people that you don't want to do business with. You want to do business with the right people who stick to the ethics and their word. And if we have an agreement, and that's what it is. And I would happily say everyone that stuck to it has left me and we're in a good relationship. And they'll only speak highly about me and only speak highly about them because that's what it is. You know what I mean? And so I don't let it discourage me. I just am more upfront about my expectations of if this is what you want to do, here's what I expect in return before that happens.
Yeah.
And I'm just very clear about it.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And bro, it's like, I'm a bridge you don't want to burn. You know what I mean? Like any employee that's like burned that bridge and done something disrespectfully, always in the future, someone messages me, hey, what do you think about John? I'm like, oh, John's a piece of shit. Don't hire him. Straight up.
Yeah.
Here's what John did to me. John's going to do worse to you, bro. You don't even exist online. You know what I mean? So I'm always a proponent of like, leave your ex-colleagues and your bosses and all this in your corner.
Yeah.
Because you never know. I mean, bro, I still go back to people in Lifetime Fitness for favors because they have a certain connection or whatever it is. And happily they will do it. Even though I left the company in short terms, I helped them. I did it the right way. Even at one point they asked me to come back for a month, like a year later, because they were short staffed. And I was the only person that could like sell 4 or 5 people's worth of sales. And they brought me in. I was like, fuck it. I'll do it for 2-3 days a week to help you guys. I came back again, broke a record month, 2-3 days a week. And I helped them. It was a win-win. They paid me extra for it, obviously, but like whatever. It's a win-win, right? I always helped and we always had a good relationship. And so it doesn't matter. I never left on bad terms. If I left on bad terms, no way I could ever ask a favor. And so I think like as life compounds, you compound all these relationships, the more positive ones you have, the more uplift you have naturally inside of your life, which I think is super important.
100%. Yeah, I agree. And I'm excited I haven't seen anybody as connected as you before. It seems like anytime if you get brought up, somebody knows you and somebody's like worked with you in some way or knows somebody who works with you. And anytime somebody needs like a connection, like all the connections. And I think that's just like off of like 10 years of those. And so I'm trying to start that as much as I can.
Bro, you're way ahead of where I was at your age. Way. Like literally 50 times.
Oh, thank you.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not exaggerating. So by the time you're 32, if you keep making content, doing goodwill, actually providing value, investing with other people, I think is a big thing too. Like I made a lot of relationships from investing with people. Mm-hmm. Like even with me, bro, like I have businesses that I don't talk about that people inside the group invested with me a lot of money. They've made a lot of money back. It's kind of private shit that I don't like publicize, right? But like they'll invest with me. That grows our relationship. When someone gives me $400,000 of their own money and trusts that for a contract. Yeah. And then a year later they're making all their money back plus some, plus whatever, right? And they're compounding it. Like that builds relationships, that builds trust. I mean, I have people in the group who invested 400K, got it back, then invested 700K, got it back, then invested 1 million. You get what I'm saying? And so like that over time, like builds a lot of relationships. And I've done the same. I've invested 500K with this person, 1 million with this person, 250. And now we have a deep relationship because like the trust is beyond just our trust. It's, I trusted you with my hard earned money and you delivered. And now the trust is 10X. You know what I mean? And so something I challenge you, because you're making good money right now, is like, as you grow, like find opportunities to get closer to the people you want to get to by investing in businesses that they have or opportunities that they have.
Love it. And on that note, and then also just like the whole theme of the event this week, because we're in Dubai for Agency Founders, the last one, the whole theme of it was think bigger. And that's why you brought different people. And I had, my mind has been opened a lot this week from just like talking to people who are just way miles ahead of me and doing like bigger shit. So that's been huge. But I'm curious, like, when you say think bigger, like how do you break that down to like the day-to-day? How do you think bigger on a day-to-day? How can you set yourself up to think bigger in the day-to-day, to be able to get these opportunities and be able to see that they're possible?
Yeah. So I think the most important piece is delegating. I used to like try to do everything I could myself, not in a bad way, not to the extent that like, you know, people who just started do it, but like at an advanced level, like, oh, I'll delegate this, but I'll do this thing because I think it's super important. And now I'm at the point where I'm the opposite. My first question is, can I give this to someone else? It's not like, should I handle this? It's, can I give this to someone else? Completely different question. I ask that question first, and I can't tell you how many messages I get that are like, give it to this person. Like, assistant will send me stuff. I'm gonna give it to Alex. Number 2, I don't care about this thing. Delete this. I never want to hear about it again. It's not worth my time. Find someone else to do it. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'll just be like, find someone else to do it. I think 1, 2, 3 people might be a good fit. I'm not touching that. Wasting my time. And so I'll find ways to justify what is a waste of my time. And also, if you think about it, I've also come to the conclusion that every time I'm in a meeting, a call, a podcast, that's time that I can't answer things via text. And in the time that I'm on a 1-hour Zoom call one-on-one with someone, and I know that's important to building depth of relationship, et cetera. So just to be clear, I know that those are important and necessary. But in the grand scheme of things, if I'm on 10 hours of calls a day versus 0 hours of calls a day and just texting people, Slack, text, WhatsApp, whatever, Telegram, I could probably message thousands of people in those 10 hours compared to talking to 10 people in 10 hours. And so at some point you just realize this is how I'm more efficient. And I would rather have 10 people taking calls and doing the things that I need to do, and me being the one that distributes via text, this to you, this to you, this to you, handle this. And then that allows me the freedom to focus on high level thinking, bigger swings, bigger calls, bigger meetings, bigger initiatives, bigger ad campaigns like the one we were talking about yesterday. Like that gets me going. No one on my team can I trust to go get Johnny Sins and run an international marketing campaign that I think could boom, right? That's something that I want to own. And that's a big play. That's thinking bigger, right? Like,
and that's possible from just delegating and freeing your mind.
100%. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to.
You just wouldn't be able, it wouldn't come to your consciousness.
It wouldn't come to my consciousness, or I wouldn't be able to execute it. How many times do you think of an idea, you're like, oh, this is fucking sick, I should do this, and then you never do it? Because a million things come up, something else pulls your attention, client has a fire, oh my gosh, I got to fix this, I got to do that, we're launching this course, blah, and then shit just drowns. Whereas for me, I have an ongoing list. I message myself on WhatsApp. Anything that's important, I have a group chat with myself. It's my first pinned chat. Anything that comes to my mind, whether it's a real idea, whether it's an ad concept, whether it's a way we can make more money, whether it's someone I need to connect with that I can't forget, I'll literally just table it in that chat, boom, 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 boom. And then every day I review what I put in the chat, and I execute on those things as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what's difficult, or something that for me, because I think a lot, I still get like have my ego kind of fueled by like working a lot. And then also when I'm like, because I know this is true, I just haven't really freed up a lot of my time, because I think it's like you don't know what you don't know, in terms of just like, if I do free up my time and work less so that I can have the opportunity to think bigger and think about these tasks, then I will come up with them, but I just don't see them yet. And I just don't even give myself the opportunity to think about that by not delegating, and just keeping the work for myself. Because like how I think about it is like, okay, I have X amount of hours of work I can do in the day. I'm only going to delegate this if I have another thing that I'll delegate it my time to. But I need to actually just like leave time to think, not think, but just like not have shit so that stuff can come into my consciousness instead. But it's just hard to get rid of that time because, you know, you eat into your margins right off the bat to like get that for something that you don't know you'll get back or how it will manifest into something. So I think I've just taken way too long to take that step.
Bro, you're young.
Yeah.
It's all good. Once you take that step, I think you'll be a different man.
Yeah. Makes sense. Well, sweet. As far as like kind of like how you'd want to leave this off, there's going to be probably like at this point, it's like mostly like agency guys, probably like younger guys, sort of like kind of after this week, like being in Dubai, talking with like a lot of younger, like faster growing, like agency guys, like what was your like biggest takeaway on what you're seeing like other people do, kind of like message to sort of like the fast growing companies, guys who are young, getting after it. Like, what is it?
I would say 3 things. 1, build your personal brand as quickly as possible. Don't wait longer. I bet you wish you started a podcast 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's one of the biggest takeaways from the entire event. Everyone that was just like had infinite opportunities had a big personal brand. Number 2, delegate sooner. Find like an executive assistant, for example, things like that. People that you can actually dish off personal things to as well. I think that'll buy you a lot of freedom. And number 3, which, came from me really, is stop building a box that you're stuck in. I think a lot of agency owners, because we make money, we haven't made money, then we make more money, then we just keep fucking piling up more cash on top of this machine that we build. But really, we built a box that we're stuck in, and we're making the box bigger, which makes us more money, but we work harder because we have to manage this bigger box. And sometimes it's, after you make like 100K a month, sometimes it's good to step back and look and be like, okay, what do I need to change in my foundation so that I'm not working like a fucking horse for the next 500K a month? How can I do it where other people are in charge? Even if that means I'm going to take less margin in the business, but I'm going to have way more time to think, to make bigger plays, to make bigger deals, to build my personal brand, etc. And I think that's really the most important thing that anyone can do.
Beautiful. Amazing. Well, thank you, my friend, for coming on. That was beautiful.
You're the man, Max.
Go check out Scoville Chicken. I still haven't had it.
Let's go, baby.
I'll come to Atlanta and try it.
Let's do it.
All right. I appreciate you, brother. All the links that we mentioned, everything will be in the description. Badmarketing.com, yeah?
Yes, sir. And Eddie on IG.
Perfect. All of it will be linked below. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.